We've been watching stuff on Disney Plus. Have you? If so, be sure to tell us. This is The Mouse and Men, where we explore the grown-up side of Disney. Find us online at themouseandmen.com, where you can send us what you're watching. Tell us all about it. Find links to all of our social media, all that fun stuff, plus our top 10 things for grown-ups to do in Walt Disney World. I am co-caster Bradley. With me is co-caster Chris. Chris, we talked recently, just in the last couple weeks, about this Halloween segment on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
So I have a feeling that we've been watching a lot of that, and that may take up a bulk of what we've been talking about, what we will be talking about today. But I'm okay with that because I've said it before. I love Halloween.
Me too. 'Tis the season. That's what we're supposed to be watching right now.
Yeah. So we're going to jump right into what we're watching on Disney Plus, this week's episode of The Mouse and Men. So Chris, we just kind of run down a list. I mentioned the Halloween section on Disney Plus. Something that I've always loved. It was hard for me to watch when I was younger because I think it was on at the end of a VHS somewhere, or maybe we had taped it. This is more likely. We had taped it from the Disney Channel over at my grandparents' house because I didn't grow up with cable.
That sounds about right.
Ichabod Crane. And it's on Disney Plus. It's paired with Mr. Toad's Wild Ride. It's Ichabod and Mr. Toad. But I love this. I love that Sleepy Hollow rendition that the Disney animation group did. That's the first thing that I had to watch to get in the Halloween spirit.
You know what? You just threw me back. It feels like 30 years of just nostalgia with that, because I haven't thought about that movie in a long time. But I remember it was one of those things that we would watch in school about this time of year. And growing up, I didn't even know it was a Disney thing. I didn't know it was a Disney property or a Disney related thing. I enjoyed the animation. I enjoyed the story. It was always spooky, and we always watched it this time of year. So now you've put in my mind of something else that I'm going to have to introduce my kids to, because I'm loving going on Disney Plus and just finding this treasure trove of things that sometimes I haven't even thought about for years, like Ichabod Crane and Sleepy Hollow. But there's other things just like, oh, kids, gather around. You have to watch this thing. So I'm so excited that Disney Plus is here, that the vault has seemingly been cracked open forever for most of these. Because again, growing up, either you go on the Disney Channel and you have all these VHSs with 3 or 4 movies on them, all labeled, written in your mom's handwriting, that you watch, that just recorded off of the TV channels that you got back in the day. Or you had movies that would come out every so often from the Disney Vault. And if you don't go and purchase it, or if somebody that you know doesn't go purchase it, then you don't get a chance to watch Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs because it's gone back into the vault. And so the idea that all of these things are kind of here, it feels a little spoiled to have all of these options. It's like a buffet of entertainment that you can go and choose from at any time. But this time of the year, you got to dive into those Halloween films.
Yeah, there's no Tower of Terror, which I would have hoped, but there is Ichabod and Mr. Toad. And a little bit of trivia, I just double checked it. Bing Crosby is the narrator of Ichabod Crane in The Legend of Sleepy Hollow. So. Cool. Yeah, it's fun. It just really throws it back to those classic Disney times.
Oh yeah, I can't wait. Yeah, this is gonna be fun.
So, Chris, what are you watching? Are you watching the Halloween stuff as well?
Oh yeah, it's family viewing, appointment viewing around this time of year, at least for once, to watch Hocus Pocus. Which is on Disney Plus. And there's a few other ones too. My family, for the most part, we're not big horror movie fanatics. But this time of year, we turn the lights down low, put a couple candles on, and then watch a creepy movie or two. But when it comes to family films, this Disney collection, or this Halloween collection that Disney Plus has, it's got a lot of fun stuff in it. It's got movies with villains. I mean, just where the villains are really spooky and scary. But, everything from Nightmare Before Christmas and Hocus Pocus, and the new Haunted Mansion Muppets movie that's in your background right now. We haven't seen it yet, but we are about to sit down and watch it all. So we're really excited about that. But you got to go Hocus Pocus this time of year.
Yeah, Hocus Pocus is great. My wife, I don't think she had seen it until a year ago. And then she didn't really get to watch it because we had a 1-year-old running around. She didn't get to pay attention. She got to pay attention a little bit more this year. We've just watched Muppets Haunted Mansion for the second time. It's great. It's just, it goes down for me with just classic Muppet comedy, all these little one-liners, not scary. It's a lot of fun. So yeah,
cool.
That, they've got other kind of cult classics. Halloween Town. I had never seen that. Just watched it because heard somebody on the radio talking about it. It's pretty good. It's not quite up there with Muppets Haunted Mansion or Hocus Pocus, but it's good. So I watched that. Something that I've mentioned before, Turner and Hooch. I was watching it. Love it. A lot of times I'll watch something, I'll find something like that and then tell my wife, hey, we need to watch this. I've done it with most of the Marvel series that have been released on Disney Plus. I did it again with Turner and Hooch. She loved it. She could not wait to go back and watch it. So a lot of what I've been watching is stuff that I've already watched. I'm going back and watching it again. I'm talking to you, Jungle Cruise. But I got to say, if you like the original Turner and Hooch, this is a great kind of appendix, I guess, because though it kind of relates to the original characters, it focuses on new characters, new stories, a new Hooch, but still great nonetheless.
Very cool. Yeah. Again, the way that you described the story, I'm looking forward to watching it too. This month has been too busy for me to start a new series. But it's definitely up there in the queue for me because I love Turner and Hooch. I love the original movie with Tom Hanks. I mean, a Muppet for Hooch. We still quote Turner and Hooch all the time. So to bring in a new generation to the Turner and Hooch world, we're going to absolutely dive into that. But so that's definitely going to be on our list as well.
Yeah. So take me down your list, Chris.
Well, I'm rewatching Black Widow. My family and I, it was our first movie that we went back to the theaters to see. We really enjoyed that movie. And so we're rewatching that now. Hocus Pocus has been in something that we've been excited about. I am really into Pixar, especially their shorts. I try to watch all the shorts that they put out. I love the creative side of some of the things that these artists do on a smaller scale, on a 10-minute or less short film that they create. And these are things that we're all familiar with if we've seen Pixar movies, because usually they premiere one of the Pixar shorts before the actual Pixar movie if you were to go in theaters. It was the first time I saw Piper. I think the very first, maybe it was Toy Story. It was I forget the name of it, but it was the old man that was playing himself in chess.
Jerry's Game.
Whoa! How did you know that off the top of your head? That's great.
Because I loved that short. And then I believe he's in Toy Story 2. Woody gets bought up at a yard sale accidentally by the guy from Al's Toy Barn. Al has him restored. I believe that's Jerry, who's the one who restores Woody to his original self.
Oh, with all the little Q-tips and the glasses with the magnifier on and everything. That's Jerry?
I believe so.
I'm learning all sorts of stuff today.
Yeah, because just kind of going off that, I've been watching a lot of Cars 1 and 2, Toy Story 1 and 2, because my son is now getting into movies, especially Cars. He asked for Cars by name. And just to vary it up, I've added in Toy Story. I tried 101 Dalmatians today because he loves puppy dogs. So I've been watching a lot more of that stuff just because it's on in the background while we're cooking dinner, while we're trying to do some chores, or even get work done. It's like, kid, I need you to play by yourself, and Cars will help you do that.
Man, I remember those days so well.
Yeah, and I gotta say, Cars is a great one. Toy Story is fantastic. Hitting a grand slam with your first feature film, just like with Snow White. But Cars is great for my 2-year-old son. He loves it, and Daddy doesn't hate it either.
Yeah, I used to have every word of Cars, the original Incredibles, Toy Stories 1 and 2, particularly, and then when 3 came out, we had to have that one. But then the series like Mickey Mouse Clubhouse and all those kind of Disney Channel shows, man, I knew all those by heart because we just watched them over and over and over again. Now I have the opposite problem. I have kids that want to hang out in the room with their friends on their devices while they're watching things from TikTok and YouTube and Instagram and Snapchat and all those things that I am less and less aware of these days because they're just getting older. And so I sometimes have to rope them all in. I'm like, all right, we're doing dinner. I'm going to have it. It's going to be sitting in front of the TV and we're watching Muppets Haunted Mansion. So that's what I have to do these days to get a 15-year-old and a 13-year-old in the living room with me to watch something on TV. Well,
in some of these things, I know you make an appointment viewing. It's tradition for your family. Yeah. That's kind of how you pull them out of their room and off their devices. But Chris, kind of run us down the other things that you've been watching.
Yeah. To mention what we were originally talking about with the Pixar shorts, there is a new Pixar short. Last time that we did a What We're Watching episode, I talked about the new Pixar short 20-something that came out. I as a therapist myself, I've introduced that movie to a lot of people because in a short, again, 10 minutes or less, 20-something does an amazing job at telling a quick story that is impactful. And if in the world of thinking through things from a therapeutic standpoint, like I do in my day-to-day job, it's a great little like, hey, go watch this and let's talk about it next session, because there's a lot of goodness in there when we're talking about how to just own different parts of self. So we talked about that last month. There was a new one that just released called Nona that is about a wrestling fanatic grandmother. And again, it's only about 7 minutes, but it's a lot of fun too. And much like everything with Pixar, there is a great amount of comedy and enjoyment while you're watching it, but there's heart too. And so if you want to have your heart tugged a little bit, go watch Nona. It's a new Pixar short. I don't exactly know when it premiered, but I saw it recently, watched it, and enjoyed that one as well. So that's my Pixar short. And then, you know me, we talked about this before. I love documentaries. I love all the Disney Plus documentaries that they put out, whether it's the Imagineering story, Behind the Attraction, all of the things where you're seeing Avengers Assembled, all of those kind of behind the scenes documentary style things I love. And so recently I've been watching Stuntman, which is Eddie Braun. He recreates Evel Knievel's daredevil jump across Snake River Gorge. And so he rebuilds Evel Knievel's like rocket to those specifications of what Evel Knievel did back in the 60s, not what we could do today to make things easier, safer, all that stuff. And so he risks his life to recreate his hero's most famous and infamous jump across Snake River Gorge. It's a really interesting, entertaining, sometimes you're gripping by the edge of your seat because of, he's a stuntman. That's what he does. And so there's a lot of heart to it. There's a lot of excitement. There's a lot of intrigue. What's going to happen? So Stuntman was great. And then finally, what I've been watching is the series Among the Stars about astronauts and just, the idea of going to space and also doing it in a more with humanity, because there's all sorts of different countries now. It's not just America versus Russia in the space race. There's all sorts of different nationalities that are participating in this. But Among the Stars has been a great series so far. I haven't finished it yet. But I'm really enjoying it right now. So a little bit of Halloween, a little bit of documentaries, throw in a Pixar short, and you got a happy person right here.
Well, and I forgot that I watched Stuntman, but it is fantastic. It has you on the edge of your seat because you don't know. There are a lot of factors working against him to make the jump happen. And so you're not sure if it's going to get called off. It's just great. Just go watch it. if you're an Evel Knievel fan, if you're a stunt fan, like a movie stunt, that's what this guy does. He does movie stunts, and he idolized Evel Knievel. Great documentary. So go watch that.
Absolutely. Yeah. What else?
A lot of stuff to watch. It's really good. And like I said, I've been watching a lot more stuff with my son because now that he's older, he's staying awake longer, taking shorter naps. He sleeps in, but I'm working, but then he's up with me most till my bedtime a lot of times. But
it isn't interesting with that, with like, it doesn't matter how old your son is, how old you are, especially when it comes to these animated movies, these Pixar movies. I mean, they're timeless. They really are. It's not like you turn it on and like, oh man, they're wearing bell bottoms. I can't enjoy the movie because I'm distracted by all the fashion that's not in style anymore. It's like, it doesn't matter if I'm going to watch Sleeping Beauty or I'm going to watch Coco. I enjoy it as if I were watching it for the first time. And it doesn't matter if it's a year old or, 50, 60 years old at this point. They're timeless. So that's another thing that's amazing with bringing new family members and new friends into the Disney community, because there's just so much to let them enjoy over the years. And you can watch them enjoy it through your eyes.
Yeah. And speaking of bringing people into the Disney arena, the Disney family, let's get to this week's plussing. So when we did our newswire for October just a little while ago, we normally do a content creator, whether it's a blogger, vlogger, podcaster, whatever. Instead, we pointed out the Halloween area on Disney Plus. So we're doing our content creator spotlight this week, and I want to bring the Diz 10 podcast to your attention. This is a podcast. I think there are 5 or 6 episodes. It just started, I believe, in May of this year. It's a little sporadic, but I love it. It just kind of pops up. The episodes, each episode has 10 magical Disney facts. And it's just fun. Sometimes it's a little random. Sometimes it's very specific to an attraction or a park or something like that. But they do a great job of just a little bit of history, a little bit of trivia, 10 facts on Disney. Like we've pointed out, there's a lot under the Disney umbrella, and they're hitting on a lot of that. So I'm looking forward to more episodes. Cool. So subscribe to the Diz 10 wherever, and that's 10, the DIS 10, 3 words. It's great. It's fun. I love having it on just for a little spark of Disney magic when I need it.
Love that. Yeah. I love doing these content creator spotlights in some of our plussing portions of the show, just because there's so much good stuff out there that, like, again, I had not heard of the Diz 10 until you mentioned it to me, but that's absolutely up my alley. Why I'm not listening to it, it only is because I've never heard of it before. So I love that we do these content creator spotlights, and I want to keep doing them because we listen to a lot of stuff off these. We do our own show about Disney, but we also are informed by a lot of what we talk about through the shows and the YouTube channels and the websites that we visit that are all about Disney fandom. So always happy to bring another fan into the Disney fold, even if it's listening to somebody else's podcast. Yeah.
And, we're talking this week a lot about nostalgia, movies that we will watch when we were kids. That kind of happens Halloween, then it kind of gets into Christmas movie season. I don't like Christmas music or really Christmas movies either until after Thanksgiving, but we'll get there. The Halloween movies kind of keep me going until Thanksgiving. But I just want to encourage you as you're going through this holiday season, you don't want to grow up too fast.
But you gotta keep exploring.